We are back.
Yeah, baby.
What's the line? Better than ever? Another episode of the ExStreamists Inside the Stream. This week in the news. Not the real news, not anything that really matters. But granted, they don't even give us really good news anyway, stuff that matters. But this is the entertainment news. How you been, man?
I've been all right. I just got back from a Pony Little League championship game. My son's league's championship. His team wasn't in it, the team that I coach, but my neighbor's team was in it, and then another neighbor that was down the street. They were both competing against each other. So this was the last game. It was probably one of the most exciting baseball games I've ever been to.
Nice.
Especially, and that's saying a lot. I've been to a lot of baseball games, but it was good pitching, tooth and nails, went extra innings. It was a good game.
Well, what people really want to know is any incidences with fathers, fighting coaches.
No.
Bare knuckles or choking their kids out, anything like that?
No, you had some intense moments when, coach yelling at a player, but it was nothing too out of control.
Parents behaved,
and parents
all year long.
On my team, they did. On other teams, not so much. But during the championship, parents were pretty cordial. They did pretty well. They mind their P's and Q's. They had their oohs and ahs. Everyone thinking they're an umpire. And I was actually standing right behind the ump. I made sure that I like to stand right behind them and kind of see what they're calling and stuff like that. Some of them were justified as far as come on, that's a bad call. But for the most part, the ump did a pretty good job. It was a pretty well called game. There was one moment when the ump lost count of strikes, and obviously so the players on the team. So it was called strike 2.
Yeah, catcher
acted like it was strike 3. Rolls the ball to the pitcher. The whole team goes, "Oh, it gets a strike 3," so they all start running off. There's a opponent's player is on third base.
Yeah,
he's like, "Oh, I guess it's third out." So he walks all the way to the dugout.
Wow!
And then someone realizes, no, that was only strike 2. They tell the kid to run home.
Oh, someone keeping score.
They were right. I was like, whoa, okay. But by then, the field ump had already picked up the baseball.
Okay.
And already started walking around with it. So if anybody even tried to change their mind, realize it.
Yeah.
So after a while of conversating with the umpire, they got the call right. Kid goes back to third base, and the very next pitch, the inning was over anyways.
I'm actually impressed with all the parents because I know these little league and kids leagues, the parents go way too far.
Oh, I see those videos.
They all think their kid is the next Barry Bonds or the next Roger Clemens or whatever. Your kid is not that good most of the time. I remember my first job when I was growing up was I was actually a basketball ref for the town I was in's basketball league because I took a class in high school on refereeing, ref all kinds of different sports, and
They had a class in high school to become a referee.
Yeah, it was one of the electives.
That was a.
I pretty much finished high school by my second semester of 11th grade. So I had to fill the days with classes, right? So it was that was one. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And I was really good at it. So, the instructor recommended me to the basketball league. So I was a basketball ref. First thing I did, right? And from that moment, I realized these parents are crazy because you're talking about a kid reffing games, and they were going nuts. And, they teach you not to have rabbit ears, but, man, some of these parents were freaking crazy. I had to kick a parent out one time. It was crazy. But, anyway, on to the news.
Let's do it. Ready for the news?
We are ready. So we're going to start off with some big headline news. I don't know if you were big onto, the talking heads. I'm not a big fan of talking heads on ESPN. I'm not a big fan of talking heads on those quote unquote news channels like CNN and Fox News. But Tucker Carlson, who made huge headlines actually he's always made huge headlines. He got fired, right, from Fox News, and he moved over to Twitter. And he's doing these, monologues on Twitter, and they're getting ridiculous numbers. I think last weekend he did the first 2, and then yesterday he did a third after Trump's whatever arrest. But the numbers are so massive, people are listening. And then the funny twist of fate is Fox News is suing him because they're trying to make him to stop talking because they're saying they still have quote unquote his rights. And he's trying to say, well, I have First Amendment rights and I'm able to speak. My whole thing is, that old saying, if you put a bunch of monkeys in a room with typewriters, they'll spit out Shakespeare. I think if Tucker Carlson talks enough, he'll spit out a good point every once in a while. You're just shaking your head.
This is our top story. It's Tucker Carlson.
It is huge because
oh my god, I can't stand this guy.
It's changing the media because I don't. Elon Musk is using this to try to get more people to use Twitter in this kind of fashion,
right?
Because it's doing ridiculous numbers.
So, question, because I try to avoid this guy as much as possible.
Yeah.
So is Fox upset because he's just taking their fan base and just rolling with it?
Oh, I'm sure.
Or is he going against what that fan base is?
No, they're just
like all of a sudden he's not getting paid by them anymore. So now it's like, all right, I'm gonna let out the dirty secrets. Like
no, it's not even that.
No, I really wasn't a Trump supporter. I really wasn't this. I really wasn't that. Like
more. He's still giving his quote unquote political takes, right?
Right.
They're like 13-minute monologues of just he goes from talking about dreadlocks in Texas to Trump not wanting wars. It's all over the map, right? But the thing is, Fox is just kind of spiteful because they're blaming him for that huge lawsuit that they lost with the voting machines, and that's the main reason he got fired. So now you cost us millions of dollars, we fire you, and now you're gonna go out and you're gonna go make millions of dollars, doing what you should have been doing. That's how I view it. You understand what I'm saying? That's how I view the thing. But it's changing a little bit of the way the media is gonna be portrayed, I think. I think this is the beginning of more of this, where people are just gonna be, because he wasn't the only one that got fired. Don Lemon got fired from CNN within the same week. So I think more people, talking heads, are gonna get fired from ESPN, and they're gonna go on Twitter and they're gonna have these little highlighted segments and they're gonna draw ridiculous numbers. Very interesting. On to other news here. Ezra Miller.
Oh, here's another winner.
He finally made an appearance at the premiere of Flash. Flash comes out tomorrow. I know you're going to go see it without me. What a friend.
Hey,
they can't see you shaking your head, man.
I offered.
You offered.
I'm seeing it with my buddy Richard. We've been seeing mostly we've always been like a MCU couple when it comes to we always see those movies on opening day and stuff. So it's kind of been our thing. But
cool.
With all the stuff that's happening with Flash, we did go see Batman.
Yeah.
And trash talk that in the parking lot until it was into the end of days. But we are excited. I'm excited to see Flash because it's kind of like an end of an era with Ezra Miller. But it's the end of it feels like this is going to be the ending of the Snyderverse, and it's going to basically now we're going to go to see what Dunn's going to do with it. Gunn. But you're gonna have Michael Keaton as Batman. I love Michael Keaton. He's still my favorite Batman out of all of them. So I'm excited to see him. Ben Affleck is still gonna be Batman in this movie for, I'm assuming, a little portion of it. So I'm excited to see that.
There's gonna be a ton of cameos.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the choices they're gonna do to shift it into this new era, especially because the Flashpoint comic books is a big deal.
Yep.
I mean, that's what always resets and then goes into the new. You can always tell the same story over and over and over again,
not.
The origin of how Batman became, Batman, Bruce Wayne, his parents dying, stuff like that, Clark Kent, what happened to him on Krypton, so forth and so forth. But now every single time when you do this Flashpoint stuff and you erase that, you start a new timeline, you get to tell those stories over again with a fresh perspective. And that's exactly what this is going to do. So I'm excited for it.
Well,
I'm not excited.
Keep that energy because, right now, the whole thing with Ezra is he's thankful that, let's say Warner Brothers or whoever or Gunn, let's say, is sticking with him and giving him a chance of grace. He's fired. Oh, of course he is. He has done no promotions for any of this.
As soon as this thing is out, as soon as it's out and it's done in theaters, and they see exactly how much it's going to bring in, because he's not a star. He's not bringing anybody in.
No, and he avoided all press. Yeah. He hasn't done any marketing for it. So it's a very weird situation. I think if the movie in their eyes wasn't halfway decent, they probably would have shelved it, just like they shelved all those other Warner Brothers. I mean, they had that Batgirl movie like pretty much done, and they still canned it because it probably was going to be horrible.
This movie's got Michael Keaton and it's got Ben Affleck in it. You can't shelve it. You got to finish it out.
They could have shelved it.
Nah, I mean, I think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be obviously the greatest comic book movie out of all of them.
In the beginning, they were dubbing it was going to be one of the
because they want you to go to it.
They're going
to say that because they want you to go to it.
Well, you know what? We can jump to the next part of this because we were going to talk about it a little bit more in depth later. But the initial numbers have come out on it, and it's pretty much about to be a bomb. They're expecting it to do 70 million, and it could go as low as 60 million, and they're optimistic it goes to 80 million. Now, to put
are you just talking about opening weekend?
Opening weekend, and they're saying, based on these numbers, these pre-forecast numbers that they're starting to book in already, that these are similar to some of the movies that have bombed recently for them. Pretty much all their DC movies have kind of bombed, and especially the Black Adams, but they're still optimistic that it won't bomb as much as Black Adam.
You set it up for failure. It's been set up for failure.
Because they had no marketing.
Well, look, I mean, no, it had a lot of marketing.
No,
hold on.
Commercial marketing. But their gripe is that their star hasn't been able to market it, because when a movie comes out, they do the tours, they go on all the Tonight shows, they go on Good Morning America, they do all that other marketing aside from commercials that help promote a movie. But Ezra Miller hasn't been able to do all that because of his craziness. Yeah. So that's what they're blaming it on.
But I think it's a lot to do with it. I think you still have that that comic book fatigue. Like that, I think it's still I think it's still out there, especially with DC right now. But then you're also you're telling the fans, like, I'm excited about the Flashpoint thing because I know what the Flashpoint is. I know that it's supposed to be there to kind of open up a new era to that universe. Yeah, but the common people people that aren't comic book fans don't realize that. So you've already come out and you basically said we're destroying the Snyderverse, and there's this new thing that's coming in. There's a new Superman that's going to be in the works. There's a new Batman. There's a new this. There's a new that. So you're erasing all these other characters. It's like coming in, like trying to okay, I discovered this new show that's awesome, but there's really no ending to it.
Yeah,
that's exactly what this is. There's no ending to the Superman stuff. There's really going to be no ending to the Bat. Like, there's no ending to any of the stuff that was kind of already built.
Oh yeah. And there's no path.
You're shutting it down and you're moving on because
as they should.
They should, because they didn't have a real good plan.
Yeah, they had no plan, no path. For
and so that's what you're saying. So
and a lot of older actors.
You got a star who's basically a nut job who should have been fired a long time ago. They should not be like I think we talked about this in the last episode. I can't remember the character's name, but they basically said to the person who played Cyborg, you'll never.
Oh yeah.
You're never gonna be. You can't play Cyborg anymore. Warner Brothers isn't gonna hire you anymore because you came out and said that the director was kind of a racist piece of crap.
Yeah.
And so you called out allegations. You even had people back you up on it that were on set.
Yep.
That came out like Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot. How do you say it? Gal Gadot. Gadot. She came out and backed. I don't think she backed up his story, but she did come out and say it was a hostile environment.
Of course.
They did that. Whedon came and said, like, hey, if you don't do this the way I want you to do it, I'm going to blackball you for all this stuff. So it was justified, and that's such a little thing to voice your opinion compared to what Ezra Miller did.
Yeah.
And yet you're still kind of backing this guy for a movie, and it's set up for disaster. I mean, Warner Brothers has to know this. There's no saving it. And also, Warner Brothers is known to give the secrets away early in premieres. They've done it with Terminator movies. They've done it with DC movies. They do it all the time where they're afraid, like, oh, if we don't show them that this spectacular thing's going to happen, people are going to show up. We shouldn't have known Wonder Woman was going to be in Batman vs. Superman. We shouldn't have known Wonder Woman was going to be in the Shazam movie. We shouldn't have known that Superman shows up at the end of Black Adam. We shouldn't, because all it does is create like all the other people that are going to all of a sudden have opinions. Oh, it's going to be trash because this person's in, this person. They're not going to voice their own opinions by going to see the movie. They're going to trash it from the very beginning. I'm done nerding out. I'm out. That was way too much. I got way too passionate. No. My coffee kicked in. I'm good to go.
It's good. I mean, I think they'll do better than they expect because it's, I mean, The Flash is a very popular character, and, the movie, they've been doing a lot of commercials, but, I mean, I don't know when I'm going to get it.
I see it all over the place, but I think,
But that's just commercials. I mean, I don't know.
But you know what? This world does like POSs. We just kind of talked about one in the beginning, so who knows?
This whole episode.
Who knows?
Wait until the end. We got a whole fast pass of horrible people at the end.
Oh,
Anyway.
really fast. Before we move on, I forgot to open this whole segment up with this. If you're a fan of our shows and you like The Extremists and you've actually listened to me rant as far as I just did, that means you like what you're hearing. Head over to our Patreon page and give us some support. Help me buy some more coffee because I'm already hitting the high right now. I am wired. So let's go ahead and do it.
Here's some more superhero fatigue, but this one is not what some people would want to hear. Tom Holland, he's taking an acting break, okay? You heard about the new miniseries that's coming out on Apple Plus.
Yeah.
Unless you're on Apple Plus, you never hear about it because Apple Plus doesn't market their stuff.
Silo.
It's called, aka Silo, and aka everything they do. Well, The Crowded Room, he says, and I quote, he wants to be a regular bloke from Kingston and just relax. So he's saying the role was so kind of demanding and he went through emotional roller coaster with mental health, and he quote unquote says the show actually broke him. He took some time off, went to the beach, but now he's taking a whole year off to kind of work on his mental health because he never realized how important mental health was until he kind of was going through this story and this acting thing. So everybody who's, hot on the next Spider-Man, when he's going to come out, you got to give him a little time. He's taking a year break.
Look, there might be truth to that, and I believe there is truth to that. But at the end of the day, there's a writer strike going on. Production is stopping Spider-Man. Let's also not forget,
money talks.
Tom Holland's been going balls to the walls for quite a while. He's a young dude. If he can take a break, let him take a break to reboot and keep going.
Yeah.
So mental health or not mental health, just take a break, dude. Like, I'm totally fine with it. Whatever. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Take a break.
Cool.
On to music news. I know you're the music guy here. Paul McCartney says one final Beatles song is coming this year due to AI. The legendary musician and former Beatle was asked about his take on how AI has made his voice sound younger, and he let out the little secret that, they've used AI to take like a demo that John Lennon had done, and they were able to complete the song because, as you know, John Lennon and George Harrison are both no longer with us. So they're going to have one final song. Well, you know what? He didn't say it was the final song. Well, he did say it was the final song. He's going to do one final song that's going to come out this year. It's probably going to get a ton of streams, right? Because it's the freaking Beatles, and it's all through AI. There's a lot of layers to this. One, I'm sure you're excited to hear this new song that nobody's heard from the Beatles. And two, the road AI is going to now take. I know they're already doing, those holograms on stage of people who passed away, and you got Michael Jackson dancing on stage and stuff like that. But AI now manipulating and mixing voices to make people who are past, recreate some of stuff that they might have messed around with. I think that's groundbreaking stuff. What do you think?
I'm not really a huge fan of this. I don't know. It's because it's not it's a Beatles song written by AI. Like, I don't know.
It's not written by AI. It's completed.
That's basically it's written by.
No. The words, they wrote the song out. It's sung by AI. That's what they're doing. So
sung.
So Lennon did a demo of it.
No,
so they're using AI to enhance the demo to be, music quality.
That's interesting because if I remember correctly, and someone who listens to this podcast could verify if I'm right or wrong by sending us an email later on. But I do remember, I think like George Harrison and Paul McCartney and Ringo, they finished a song that Lennon and McCartney were working on in the past. And they finished it obviously before George Harrison died. I think it might have been one or two songs.
Okay.
And that was a big deal when those came out at the time.
Nice.
Because in a way that was still written by, still four of them worked on the song.
Yes.
And so because because the groundwork was already kind of laid down. So I'm assuming that John Lennon had a demo that maybe he worked on, because most of the time John Lennon and McCartney worked on their stuff together. Yeah. But now you can't bring Harrison involved into it because he's passed away. So you're gonna have AI kind of fill in the fourth Beatles part.
Well,
I'm trying to put this together because before the part was already done by John, so you had the three just kind of fill in their parts.
Yeah.
But now, if John already has his part kind of done,
AI is doing the
Paul
AI is
can
finishing
finish
that
his part, or Paul can Lennon in a hand, Ringo can as well, but that you don't have Harrison that can do that.
Well, they didn't mention if Harrison's part is already done, but they just mentioned the part that Lennon's part is what was just like a low-grade demo, and they finished it off with AI.
I'm not sure I'm a fan of it, but I would love to watch like a documentary on how they do it. Yeah, I'm intrigued for sure, because it's Beatles. I mean, Beatles is still the #1.
But don't you see this moving forward with all kinds of deceased artists? With AI's taking over the last year and a half.
It's a mistake, but we use it, so let's move on.
It's a mistake. Oh, you're one of those Skynet's coming for us all.
Heck yeah, man! I love sci-fi stuff. Half the video games I play are post-apocalyptic. Half the movies I watch are post-apocalyptic. Even the shows I watch are post-apocalyptic. The shows, if you look at the shows that we have covered so far on ExStreamists,
it's all
1/3 of them. No, I'm sorry, 2/3 of them are post-apocalyptic.
Yes.
So it's kind of a thing that we're into right now. If we haven't learned our lesson by just watching the sci-fi stuff, then it's our own undoing.
It's a popular genre. And to segue right into video games, there's been a ton of announcements, a ton of games. But I pulled one up that goes right up your alley.
Yes. Yes, it does.
Ubersoft is publishing the next upcoming Star Wars game, developed by Massive Entertainment. And Monday,
they're the same people that do Division.
Division's awesome.
I know all about this. This is fantastic.
So they announced it Monday. It's called Star Wars Outlaws. They had a little demo video. Did you watch? I'm sure you watched it.
I watched the demo video, and I also watched the in-depth presentation of our gameplay.
Go ahead.
This game looks absolutely amazing.
It does.
So right now you have Star Wars Jedi Outcast that's out right now, and that game is great. But it's somewhat open world. It's kind of stage based. It's kind of like almost like Metroidvania kind of thing, where you kind of got to go back to other levels and stuff like that to kind of like open up things, and it's more strategic, where this is like full on open world, flights from planet to planet if you want to, whole dog fights. And Ubisoft does an amazing job with open world games, like with The Division, with Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs.
I love Assassin's Creed.
Like they're so good. And when I heard that they were going to be doing a Star Wars game, I was thinking, oh, this is going to be amazing. Jedis, blah, 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 whatever. Didn't go the Jedi route.
No.
So this is more kind of a Han Solo blasters doing. It's
gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun. It looks like it's gonna be a fun, adventurous game, and it looks like you're gonna be able to do a super ton of things in it. And you can customize a lot of stuff. I'm super excited about it. This should be like probably one of the #1 Star Wars games in like anticipation wise of all time. And Ubisoft likes to polish the crap out of their games, so I have a feeling this game's going to come out, knock it out. It's probably going to be a 9, must have for any Star Wars fan. Everyone should be looking forward to this.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. On a little somber news, Pat Sajak, the longtime host of Wheel of Fortune, is retiring. This will be his last year of doing the show. They're going to start filming, I believe, in September, and that will be it for him. Vanna White, she hasn't, quote unquote, said her plans. She just well wished him, on his future, and, enjoyed working all these years with him. I'm assuming she's going to hold off to see how much they're going to pay her to stay past this year, because that's what I would do. I would leverage, you want a smooth transition with your new host, you're going to keep me around for double the pay. So, were you a Wheel of Fortune guy?
You know what? I actually did like Wheel of Fortune back in the day, but when Wheel of Fortune was cool, because back in the day,
he recently punched somebody out. You saw that, right?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, I think he had an altercation with somebody who was trying to go crazy on the show. Yeah.
Really?
I'm pretty sure that's a thing. But keep going.
I remember watching Wheel of Fortune way back in the day with my grandma, probably when I was 10 years old or something like that. I thought Wheel of Fortune was cooler than Jeopardy. And those were basically the two. There was Jeopardy, Price is Right, and Wheel of Fortune. Like, those are the three main game shows, I guess, that we grew up with our entire lives. And they've all gone their different routes. Drew Carey took over Price is Right.
Yeah.
I think there's still 2 people that are doing Jeopardy right now, which is
Bialik and Ken Jennings.
Yeah. And so now it's just time. 41 seasons of the same host.
He looks great, though.
He does look great. And I mean, I don't know. I haven't really watched the thing. Like the clips that I've seen of people saying the wrong word, words that they shouldn't be saying on Wheel of Fortune. Like what? Like anyway.
Wheel of Fortune is an institution. I wish I could play. I'm a horrible speller, so I could never play.
That's why I wouldn't do it either.
I couldn't do Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah.
I thought I always thought, what's the other one after Wheel of Fortune? Jeopardy. Yeah, Jeopardy was overrated because it's the by far the hardest of all the TV show games.
Sure.
And they don't pay that well. You know, like some hack can do Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, do a couple of lifelines and get $1 million. And the questions are nowhere near as difficult as Jeopardy.
Yeah.
So I always thought Jeopardy was like, they need to pay more. You know, these little $500 boxes.
I don't think they bring in
but it's more
I don't think
prestige.
Jeopardy brings in the numbers to pay more.
Well, yeah, it does it. But, well, it does. Well, you know, the big guys who really do well in Jeopardy, they make a lot of money. But I always thought Wheel of Fortune, you stumble upon it, it's like no-brainer watching. It's just enjoyable. I knew somebody who actually won Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, it's someone
about 2 years ago.
Someone on my family actually did or Jeopardy. But it was it was like, you know, my mom's friend's dog walker kind of thing. Like I think it was my aunt's husband's aunt. I think it was something like that. And it was, I remember like she competed. I remember watching it at the house. She came in last, but she was on the show. I remember her being on the show.
Real fast. What's your favorite game show?
Double Dare.
Double Dare.
Double Dare Nickelodeon.
Dude, you want to hear the funny thing? My dad didn't let us watch Double Dare.
What?
Okay? Listen. Okay, first of all, my dad's an immigrant, okay? Came to this country and he sees this land of too much, right? Ton of stuff in the world.
Okay.
And he's like, when we were trying to watch Double Dare when we were in Nickelodeon, he'll see them wasting food and things like, I don't want you guys watching this show because they're just wasting food. There are kids in Africa and in Haiti who would love to, you know, have this food and they're just playing with it. So that was his thing. But interesting call, Double Dare.
Double Dare.
As a 40-year-old man, you're going Double Dare.
That's right.
I got to go with Family Feud, man. It's Family Feud.
Family Feud's good. And you know what? I love Family Feud with
Steve Harvey.
Steve Harvey. Oh, it's so good with Steve Harvey.
Every host of Family Feud is awesome.
No, I've seen the other host, but Steve Harvey just he's got that look where it's just like you just said what? Like
what was the original guy? He used to kiss the women.
Well, it was
that wouldn't hold up now if you want to talk about still holds up.
The other host that I remember the most was the dude with the buffet, the other stand-up comedian guy, the big white guy. What's his name?
Was it who?
Come on, I'm gonna search it. We're gonna search it. We gotta go.
Which host are you talking about?
Hold on, I'm gonna look right now.
Louis Anderson.
Louis Anderson.
Okay,
nice. He's pretty good. Let's see.
You know what? Louis Anderson. Let's see. Who are the hosts of I can't believe we've gone on this.
Richard Karn.
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. So Louis Anderson was 1999 to 2002.
Yes, before Steve
Richard
Harvey.
Karn, 2002 to 2006. John O'Hurley, 2006 2010, and then you had Steve Carley, 2010 to present. So did it start with Louis Anderson?
No.
So, but I only got a timeline from 1999. Who was before?
No,
him?
the first.
Who was the first host? Richard Dawson.
That's the first host, right?
First host. That's what it says.
That's the dude who used to kiss the women. Like, can you imagine if Steve Harvey just walked around and just started kissing, you know, the wives?
You can't do stuff like that these days. It's like the conversations we were having with like my dad smoking a cigarette at the baseball field while he's coaching. Those are things that'll never happen again.
Yeah.
You're never gonna see that again.
Nope.
You're never gonna see people act like that on television.
Well, that's for the main. Well, that was it for the main news. Let's do a quick ad here. Go ahead, drop your stuff.
Yeah, real fast. If you've made it all the way past or to all the way to segment 2, you're the perfect person to go check out our Patreon page. Go check it out right now. Help us buy some coffee. Help us buy some electricity. Help us buy some water. Help us keep just help us keep the studio rent. I don't even know anymore. Just check out that Patreon page. If you help support us, it makes it easier for us to make content that you might actually enjoy. If you can't do that, that's no big deal. Click the follow button, click subscribe, tell your friends, tell your neighbor dog walker. I don't care, but help us spread like a virus. Help us spread like fungus on The Last of Us. Back to you, Max.
That was a nice, well-placed ad.
That was terrible.
Well, you know, when people become patrons, they can actually contribute to some of the talking points of what shows we do, some of the talking points on the news, all kinds of good stuff.
Movies that we cover.
Movies we cover and things. So there are some benefits to it.
Also, we would love to have some guest people jump in on the news as well. So Patreons, if you want to come and be a guest and do the news with us, give us some support.
Yes, sir. All right. Segment 2 is where I usually like to do stuff that are, out of left field. I like lists.
Wait, Tucker Carlson wasn't out of left field?
No, that was a huge media.
More out of right field.
Out of right field. There you go. You're horrible. The Tonys were Sundays. Do you have any ideas what's going on with the Tonys? They can't see the face you're making. We're not in a video yet.
I guarantee they did some kind of a musical opening. Maybe Hugh Jackman showed up and did a presentation, and then I don't know.
What are your chances of guessing any of the winners?
0.
Squash that. Tonys were out. A lot of great winners, but we're not doing the Tonys anymore. Did you watch Black Mirror?
I have not watched Black Mirror yet.
Oh, you're killing me here.
Segment 2 is not working out for you right now.
Not at all. You are destroying. Well, I was going to do the wraps, came up with the because, the final season's coming up in a couple of weeks. They came up with the 15 best episodes of the Black Mirror. I have a ton of complaints on their top 15.
Okay.
Actually, I don't complain about the back end. It's really more on the top end. I think it's all over the map. Incorrect, but since you destroyed segment 2, on to the speed round.
No, hold on. I've got the link that you provided with me on notes, so let's check it out right now. So
you've never seen any of these, why?
But I'm gonna have you rank because you've seen all of them, right?
I've seen every single one.
Okay, so number 15 they picked Striking Vipers.
Excellent choice.
Okay, so then you got number 14, Black Museum.
Yep.
Okay.
That one was okay. It had Sherry in there before she was a huge star. It was one of the few episodes that connected other episodes, so it could be down there. No problem with that one.
Okay, number 13, Rachel, Jack, and Ashley 2.
Correction, this should have been before the museum. This was a Miley Cyrus vehicle. Horrendous. Keep going.
Number 12, Shut Up and Dance.
I actually enjoyed this one. I think it could be a little higher. It was a good mystery on, basically someone was blackmailing a bunch of people to do some horrible things because they caught him at doing stuff like kiddie porn and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's dark, man. Black Mirror is dark, man.
Oh, man. All right, number 11, Playtest.
I love this one. You would have loved this one. This guy goes to do video game testing for a really popular video game company, and this one is all based on fear. And it obviously goes terribly wrong. He was backpacking through wherever and he needed some money. Great episode. It may be a top 10, but I'm not complaining about where it's located.
Okay, number 10, Nosedive.
This should have been behind the last two. Keep
really?
going.
It's got Bryce Dallas Howard.
I don't care. She's a good director. I like looking at her, but after that, keep it moving.
She can run from dinosaurs really well.
Yeah.
Number 9, Hated in the Nation.
Okay, this should have been a top 5. This was a great, the villain, I don't want to, well, spoiler. Black Mirror is very dark. The villain kind of wins in this one, which I loved. So keep going.
All right, number 8, Hang the DJ.
Definitely another top 5. This one will have you guessing, and then the twist at the end is oh, that's such an interesting concept. Definitely.
Okay.
Top 5.
Number 7, White Bear.
White Bear, another interesting one. I probably would have pushed this a little further down. I'll just put it this way. It's a modern day, a new take on punishment for prison.
Okay. Number 6, 15 Million Merits.
Okay, this is one of the ones that I don't get why people love this episode so much. Okay. To me, the first time I watched it, I fell asleep. I tried to watch it again because everybody swears they love this episode. This is nowhere near in my top 10, to be honest with you. I know it's starring Daniel Kaluuya. Did I say his name right?
Sure.
Probably not. But, before he was a major star, he does a great job acting in it, but it's just not one of my favorite episodes. I think it's ridiculously overrated, but I know it's very popular.
Okay. Number 5, White Christmas.
This, to me, is my number 1. It's number 5 here, but it should be number 1. It's 3 stories that are interconnected. The twist is phenomenal. It should be number 1. I don't know why it's number 5, but we'll keep going.
Oh, this looks interesting. Number 4, USS Callister.
This is my number 2 episode. It is phenomenal. It's, the guy is a game developer but he's trapping people inside the game, like real life, is trapping them inside the game, which is awesome. So he's in the game. It's like Star Trek, and everybody in there has to play their role, even though they're stuck in the game and they hate it. And he's like puppet master. It's great. It's number 2.
I kind of watched that episode. Number 3, The Entire History of You.
So this was one of the earlier ones. This is my number 3 episode, and it is number 3 here. It's great. Basically, you're wearing a pair of contacts and you record everything you see in your life. You can rewind and go back years, months, minutes. It's phenomenal. It's about a couple. They have an argument. The guy comes home early from a trip. There's a bit of infidelity, but the twist at the end is really good. That's why I have it at number 3.
Okay. Number 2 is San Junipero. Am I saying that right?
Junipero, yeah. It's basically old people going virtually into a world set kind of like in the 80s for them to relive themselves. So the people you see in the picture on there, they're really extremely old. They're just there virtually, and it's a love story kind of thing. It's a good episode, but it's not the second best episode.
Okay. All right. And then they have number 1 being Be Right Back.
Okay. This is a really good episode. This is my number 4 episode. So, it's about a young couple. She's pregnant. He does one of those, I'm going to go out and get, I forgot what he was going to go buy.
Milk. Cigarettes.
It's probably something like that. And unfortunately, he passes away. But this is Black Mirror. So they're able to create a droid version of him with all his kind of memories based on social media, the way he communicated, the way he talked. So she's living with this humanoid that's pretty much similar to her husband. They can have sex, they can do all this kind of stuff, but at the end of the day, she kind of doesn't bond with it the right way, so she hides it up in the attic, and the daughter, when she's older, is visiting daddy upstairs. It's kind of trippy. It's really well acted. It has Peggy Carter in there playing the lead, Haley Atwell.
Oh, she's good. I like her.
Yeah, and the boyfriend Ash is Domhnall Gleeson. He's a great actor too. So Black Mirror always pulls these really great young and up and coming actors, or actors, and they always do a great job. So that would be my list. This would be number 4.
Okay.
So White Christmas is my favorite. In my book, would be number 1.
Okay. And then that ends segment 2, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Time for an ad.
On that note, if you've gone all the way past segment 2 and you're all the way to segment 3, go check out that who are we again?
What? The Rot Your Brain
Media
podcast
network on
Patreon.
Patreon/Rot
Your Brain Media.
Check it out. Help support us.
Yes, sir.
We need more coffee.
On to the speed round.
Segment 3.
I'm sure there's a lot of things here, but they're quick little hitters. Kim Cattrall, confirmed. She's reprising her role as Samantha Jones, as we discussed previously in the Sex and the City reboot.
Super excited. I can't wait to start watching.
You watch that show?
No, I don't.
Oh, I was about to say.
I don't watch that show.
Harrison Ford, making his Marvel debut on set this week, showed a picture of him with Anthony Mackie on the upcoming new Captain America movie, Brave New World, which is set to come out next year, May, which is a prime window for movies. So they must be anticipating big things from this movie. And it's still going, they're still planning it with all the actors strike, writers strike.
Yeah, I mean, it's Captain America Part 4. You've got a new Captain America.
Ugh. I don't like anything.
I know.
I apologize.
No.
I'm not an Anthony Mackie fan. I don't like anything he does. So
I haven't minded him in the
I like
things that he's
Sebastian Stan though. I love Winter Soldier.
I don't think he's going to be in this movie.
I'm not even going to watch it then.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not even going to watch it. If Sebastian Stan's not in, I really don't like anything Anthony Mackie does. I apologize. He's a great actor and all. Something about him just rubs me the wrong way when I just don't like him. Now here's the question for you. Will Steve Rogers make a cameo? Or now here's the pros and cons of that. Some nostalgia to bring in a nice little face after, Endgame, which is a positive, but the negative is you don't let Anthony Mackie shine as Captain America if you still have a little cameo of Chris Evans as Captain America. What would you do? Or what do you want?
I think you might actually have a very small cameo of old Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
Kind of maybe giving some, like on screen for maybe 5 minutes, giving some advice or helping pass on the torch again. Because the transition from him becoming Captain America, you know, on Falcon and Winter Soldier, I don't know how many people actually watch that. I mean, obviously MCU
that
fans
wasn't that bad.
It wasn't one of their better ones, but at the same time, it's still a TV show. The masses didn't go out and watch it. All you got was people that are like dedicated Disney fans and, you know, obviously MCU fans that watched it. So people didn't see that transition. So I still think you might see like a 5-minute thing of Steve Rogers showing up, even though he's not even in the show.
Yeah.
Maybe just help him pass on the mantle. I am hearing rumors that he is coming back though, and he is playing a different character. Like he's still gonna play Steve Rogers, but Steve Rogers is somebody else. And it's going to be Steve Rogers bringing the Infinity Stones. You're going to see that
the path of him
cool. Doing that.
It should have shown that.
But
director's cut.
Maybe if you do bring him in for 5 minutes, then all of a sudden at the very end of that movie in the credits, then you show him maybe going off on that adventure or something like that, so you can see something. Anyways, I think they bring him in for 5 minutes.
Okay,
I really do.
Cool. Harrison Ford, by the way, is going to be taking on the new role as Thunderbolt Ross because William Hurt passed away.
Yep.
He's been doing that role since the 2008 Incredible Hulk. Great, he did a great job.
Let's also not forget. Let's also not forget in this new Captain America movie, you're gonna see, what is her name? Come back and play Betty Ross, his daughter.
Yeah.
God, what is her name?
Connelly, Jennifer Connelly, right?
No, not Jennifer Connelly.
Who's the other one?
It's
who was that? Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler, yeah, Steve Tyler's daughter. Yeah, she's
one of those two.
Yeah, she's gonna come back and play this character who hasn't been seen since the first Hulk movie. That MCU's done
with Banner, right?
Yeah, and so she's gonna be in it. I'm assuming if you're gonna bring her in and then you're gonna have that relationship, then obviously you're gonna have Bruce Banner in this at some point.
Probably.
It looks like this is actually setting up a lot of Hulk villains. If you look at the roster, because even they got the Brain, I think is supposed to be in it.
Yeah, and Abomination and things like that.
I don't know if they said Abomination.
I don't know,
but it seems like it's more catered towards Hulk villains. So I'm assuming you're going to see the Hulk in this at some point.
Yeah, they might use that to help carry the movie.
Which is weird because it's a Captain America movie.
And honestly, I've actually enjoyed all the Captain America movies, the standalone movies. I know not everybody has, but again, it's a May release, which is a primetime window, around Cinco de Mayo. So that's a big deal.
I'm hoping for good things.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. Now, we're going to go into a little strike run. When I call strike, Daredevil and Penguin all on hold with this writer's strike. That's a bummer. So is marketing for some of these upcoming releases. Barbie, Oppenheimer, Ninja Turtles, all the promos, because I'm assuming the writers help write these promos. They're not using ChatGPT to write some of these promos.
Sure.
They're all on like a massive delay, which is going to hurt all these releases because they're just no promos.
Well, that's when you bring in the social media guys. You bring in the TikTokers and all the other people. Then you have them promote it for you.
That's a good idea.
I think that's probably what you're going to see. I don't know what your algorithm's like, but I'm not getting that kind of stuff. And I'm sure some people are getting that. I'm sure it's got to be out there.
They're going to start paying for you to start seeing that.
I mean, that's the way marketing is now. I mean, look at even like this unboxing stuff that kids do and everything like that. That's the way that toys now advertise. So
you're thinking this is going to spur a big influx and a change in all the market. I like that take.
I do. Because you don't see those cool commercials we were back in the day when you see this one kid playing with these G.I. Joe action figures and all these explosions and like this great music happening and yada, yada, yada. You now see an adult most of the time unboxing something and then playing with these, toys. Like that's
because the kids are off to school or in college.
You do see that there are the kids ones too. My kids were into the watching the unboxing thing way back in the day. Luckily, my 3-year-old now is not into it, but when my 13-year-old and my 11-year-old were his age, they were watching the unboxing thing, and that was how they discovered new toys and everything. So
it's cool.
Oh yeah, well.
So here another. This is the big thing on the strike. Disney's pushing back a ton of releases. So is DC. But Avengers: The Kang Dynasty was slated for May 2nd, 2025, is now premiering May 1st, 2026. Secret Wars was going to be May 2026, is now May 2027. Captain America, we talked about Brave New World, went from, it's pushed, actually I had it May 3rd, is now July 26th, with still a primetime date. With Thunderbolt from July 2024 to December 2024. That Blade got scratched altogether. Now that date for Blade is 2025. Fantastic Four is also May 2025. And then Deadpool, they pushed Deadpool up with Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman to fill the gap. So that one is moving up to, it got pushed back, but it still moved up. It's going to be November of 2024. In addition, Avatar 3, this is the ones that's really crazy. Avatar 3 is going to be December 2020, from December 2024 to December 2025. Avatar 4 is from December 26 to December 2029. And Avatar 5 from December 2028 to when we're 50 on December 2031. 2031, dude, they're planning for this Avatar 5. When we're 50 years old. Is that ridiculous, man?
I think it's I mean, look, I think it's crazy that we're talking 2026, so you're going to get another Avengers movie.
Yes.
So, and it's not like there hasn't been any MCU content though that's been out there. There's been a ton of shows that have hit. Though. Some of the movies have been pretty. Guardians 3 is pretty darn good.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. You went without me. Keep going.
Look, I don't know what people expect when they go to see these
comic book
movies. It's not supposed to be the greatest thing you've ever seen in your life. It's supposed to take away an hour.
I agree with you.
2 hours and just kind of give you something to enjoy and root for. That's the bottom line what they're for. It's not supposed to be like this, it was so dark and so mysterious and like I thought about contemplating my existence in life. That's not the purpose of it.
You're 100% right.
So
and for people who are busy.
When people complain about Thor, when they complain about Ant-Man, when they complain about the Black Widow movie.
I like that one.
But at the same time, they're still fun to watch.
That's exactly
They're just supposed to be fun to watch.
You nailed it.
So I have not experienced this fatigue that people talk about. I actually want more of these movies. I enjoy them. I just think the shows could be a little bit more better and not feel like they're so rushed. And I think that's what they're doing. I'm hearing good things about Invasion with Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. And I think they kind of dialed it back and just tried to I'm hearing it's actually closer to the Netflix shows, which is kind of.
Oh, speaking of that, I forgot to mention Daredevil got pushed back, but anyway.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, so this fatigue thing, I just think that times have changed with streaming, with the pandemic, with all that stuff that's happened. We're still kind of getting our feet together and trying to figure out where we want to see movies at. So that's my issue right now is I don't really go see movies. I don't go to the theaters and see movies anymore unless it's actually a big movie that I feel like I need to see in the theater, which would be an MCU, maybe a DC movie or something like that. But I'm not going out and seeing I don't know. Who can I think of that's a star? The next
Tom Hanks movie.
Next Ben Affleck movie, but it's not Batman or something like that. I'm not going to see one of his heist or artsy-fartsy rom-coms or anything like that. That's a streaming movie I'm going to go watch on HBO Max.
Or Netflix, yeah. No, I totally agree with you. I think part of it is also people were so connected to some of the old characters because it was a 10-year build and you had 10 years of growing up with these people. And now some of the new stuff is a lot of new faces. That always hurts.
People don't like change.
But for me, I think it's a little bit of that, and I think it's just too much content. Instead of there's so much Marvel stuff, I don't even have a chance to watch all of it because life is very complicated when you have young children, your businesses and all that kind of work. So I feel like there's so much content and there's no infinity to some of these new characters. I don't feel like I have to go see Anthony Mackie in the new Captain America because life is busy. There's so many other options.
I also think
it's a combination of all that.
We're going to get a little too deep on this one probably, so I'm just going to say this. I also think that people I think people's agendas seem to have gone into these movies, like people's opinions that if they want to see the movies or not. Same thing if they want to go see the TV shows. Like now we're moving to all females for certain things. Well, I wanted the males to still be there. Well, like, you know, you've already had a Hulk. Now you need to do a She-Hulk if you want to continue those things, because Hulk's not going to be around forever. You know, same, like, I think that, like, you know, like, it's gone to this point where people are like, well, I'm not going to go see it because it's not what I'm used to. And I had a big...
It's okay if it ends.
It is okay if it ends.
I think they could literally end this section of the MCU and just start X-Men and start. There's a plethora of characters you can build in the X-Men world of Marvel. This side of the MCU could be paused or be done with. It could have ended at Endgames, and then you just start X-Men with its major villain Apocalypse, or the infinite others that they have, Magneto and all these kind of things. You could have had a plethora of characters that you build off of that side of the world and let people be done with Endgame. They didn't have to keep, you know, throwing down Eternals that most people didn't even read the comics. Like, nobody cares. Nobody cares. But anyway, let's finish this up because other people want to listen to other things. If you're still here, we appreciate it. But now we're going to go into the vile category of this segment. We're going to end here. We talked about Ezra Miller and his shady past. Well, here's a quick fire on a couple other people, some shady stuff. Arm Hammer. I always want to call him Arm & Hammer because of the product. Well, you know, he's not facing charges for his sexual assault. You know, he was accused of rape. So I guess it's good for him. I don't want to past things, but he was allegedly did some crazy stuff. I think his star has faded a lot. He was the Lone Ranger. I think that movie flopped. So moving on. Kevin Spacey is crying to that, you know, he feels that he would get roles once these horrible accusations have dropped on him. You know, he's crying to the poor. He's probably running out of money. You know, that he's talking about that he's like the victim now. He's taking the victim role after this. And listen, I love Kaiser Sose and most of the work he's done. Dude, go retire and go sit somewhere. And hopefully, he's denying all the stuff that he's accused of, but we don't have to get into some of that vile stuff. I don't want to hear from him. Shut up. Go do your time in court and just go away.
I thought Kevin Spacey it was an interesting thing because I always liked Kevin Spacey. I liked House of Cards. I liked, you know,
great actor.
I liked all the stuff that he's done. It was interesting because when I don't know if there's been any more allegations, more people coming out, but I do remember the one allegation that kind of tipped the whole thing about he was a 14-year-old boy or something like that. He didn't deny it.
Of course
He
not.
just basically said, like, I didn't realize he was that young. I'm sorry. Like that, or like, I was like,
yeah.
Like, there's something about, I'm sorry you're in that position or something. But it wasn't like he denied putting this person in that situation. So it was interesting because other people come out and go, I didn't do that. There's no way I did that, blah, blah, blah. Where he was kind of like, I didn't realize it at the time, but we should not be worried about it.
Go defend yourself and just go sit somewhere no one wants to hear from you.
It wasn't handled very well.
Not at all.
And
here's the last one, Bill Cosby.
Another person
I love
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby. I love the Cosby Show, but 9 new allegations out of Nevada. Once again,
where have these people been? Are these new ones?
9 new ones out of Nevada.
No. Like recently, like he just did this in the last.
Well, no, new allegations. I guess. I mean, you know.
Well, I'm just kind of curious. Like, he went to prison. Why didn't they jump on this in the very beginning?
Well, I don't want to ever like begrudge somebody from when they come out because there's a lot of emotion and trauma behind that.
Maybe they decided now because he did get out, maybe we should jump out and like say something.
Maybe, yeah, or maybe they feel, he should be still in jail or he should die in there.
Totally still be in jail.
Die in there.
That's not even a question.
I don't want to begrudge anybody, any victim, and offering stuff. It's just these individuals. I don't know, man. That's it for this week's news. You know, it was great. In the beginning, we go down these horrible paths because, you know, a lot of times we put these Hollywood people up on pedestals, but some of them are just horrible human beings. We started with one and we're ending with a few.
Yeah, we got to work on your positioning on like your alignment next time.
What do you mean? These are huge stories.
I know. I'm just saying. Maybe we should put the happy, go feeling, fun stuff in the beginning.
No, in the middle.
Then get depressing in the middle, and then end with fun, happy stuff at the end.
No. These are fast one-liners, one-timers.
We did not handle the fast-paced part very fast. Okay, we stuck around with a lot of these things.
You wanted to talk about, you know, superhero fatigue.
Superhero fatigue.
I didn't go there.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right. Well,
that's it for this week in the news.
Thank you guys so much for hanging out. If you've got this far in the pocket, I'm not even joking anymore. Like literally, this is some of the worst stuff that we've done, and you managed to get all the way down the bottom. So if it was that bad, imagine the stuff that we're really proud of. So go over to check out our Patreon page. Check us out.
Gold, Jerry, gold.
Help us out. Get us the coffee. Get us the electricity. Get us the rent paid. Help us justify us coming here late at night to our wives that we couldn't stay home and help take care of the kids. We needed to come and do this podcast. Why? Because we were entertaining you. And we were entertaining you so much, you decided you wanted to go to our Patreon page and help us out. We would really appreciate it. But if you can't do that, just click the subscribe, the follow, the like button. Share us with your friends, your loved ones, your hated ones, the neighbor you don't like, the neighbor that you love, the dog walker, the cat walker, the weird people that bring in the two animals in Lowe's. It's just weird. But thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. And then don't forget to check out our Silo, the episodes of Silo. We have a new one that'll be posted up really quickly, probably right after this episode. So thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time.
Sir. Music by Kyle Torme. Subscribe to the Extremist podcast feed at rotyourbrainmedia.com/theextremist. Subscribe to Rot Your Brain Media feed at rotyourbrainmedia.com and support Rot Your Brain Media by visiting patreon.com/rotyourbrainmedia.